Hey, yo, what's up, guys? We're live on a Wednesday. Yes, this Monday, my work schedule has changed. This past Monday, there was no live stream, guys. Next Monday coming up, or whatever you want to call it, this Monday coming up, next Monday, no Monday Night Live for 2 weeks. I'm locked in on the overnight shift. So I'm trying to find a day to come on here and chat with you guys because, that's what I love to do. And I didn't realize that Off Centered was also going to be on tonight with Dustin and Brad. So, I might have a few people come and watch me with those two superstars over there doing their thing. But anyway, we're going to do it anyway. Last couple of weeks, I've been busy. I've been at two shows, the Raleigh, North Carolina show, as well as the Philadelphia show this past weekend. Some of you guys may have caught me on a live drive on the way home. And, where I talked about the Philly trip a little bit, and the video is coming out tomorrow on that. Just been busy with lots of other things. Got some people here. What's up, Stephen Ryan? Scott, what's up, Business 124? Talatiga Ulafale, and I watched Neo go live last night, and I'm not trying to call Neo out or anything, but Neo did not give half the effort on pronouncing your name that I did. All right, Neo. No mud flinging at Neo. Neo's my boy. But I watched that and I'm like, come on, Neo. Come on. Give it a try. I love podcasts. What's up? Josh Albert, Brett Mandel, Bravos, along for the journey. The Wall, what's going on? Sean, what's going on? Doom Card, what's up? Speaking of Doom Card, did I get this from you? A Dr. Doom sticker, which I was going to show later in the live stream. However, you're here. So I thought I'd show it now. Doodad, Joel, what's going on, Joel? What's up, man? Doug Silverman, Smoking Cardboard, Jordan Hudson, Johnny Lowe 357. All right, guys, that's all we got in the chat right now. Anyway, swinging in the markets going on. NBA modern basketball cards are starting to heat up. What's up, Ryan? Breakout cards. Also, you guys make sure you go over there and give him a sub. Scott, cheers. What is up? I hung out with Ryan quite a bit in Philly. We did some things, had a blast at that show. Even though we venture down different avenues when it comes to our collecting style, we also have a lot of similarities, and I learn a lot from Ryan, man. Ryan can educate you on some stuff. BJ, what is going on? Michael Ham, what is up? Road Dog, what's going on? Someone said, was it Scott? Scott said something about merch. Where did I miss it? Or Sean. It wasn't Sean. Bravo said new merch. Anyway, no, guys, it is not new merch. I do have a t-shirt over that says Flipping Steve on it, if you didn't notice. Got a different type of logo up here tonight. On the back of the shirt is the best part. However, I can't really turn around and show you. And this is my only one. So, no, it's not like I got new merch. I don't have a marketplace. I'm not selling t-shirts. However, we will do a super chat raffle tonight, and one of the prizes will be a t-shirt. So I'll do the t-shirts as far as giveaways and stuff, but I don't know if I'm going to go into the mode to where I'm going to sell them. Just because for me to even get the shirt, it's between $18 to $20. So for me to have to, if I was to sell a shirt on a marketplace, it'd have to be like $20, and I don't expect people to pay $20 for a t-shirt of mine, so it's like, I would rather just have a few made here and there and give them away. And that way it would keep them special a little bit. And like Bravo says he likes the idea, of the numbered shirts. And that's the thing. Like, I don't know if I can show you guys here, if you can see or not, but it says first off the line, 1 of 50. So the back of the shirt says FOTL for first off the line, and it's number 1 of 50. And that's how the first 50 will be made. The next one will have number 2 on the back, then 3, then 4. And they all have the of 50 like they have down in the bottom. So, I'm going to order them. I'm not ordering 50 t-shirts right out of the gate, but I'm going to order them. And once I get done ordering my first 50, I'll stop putting that first off the line on the back and probably come up with a different shirt. So, yeah, that's how we're going to do that. So we're going to do a super chat raffle. The t-shirt that I just showed you guys is going to be a prize. And anybody, if you don't want a t-shirt, I have a raw card here. I know you're saying raw card, but it is a Kyler Murray select premier level rookie. This one is crispy. I was going to send it in to have it graded, but I said, hey, popular quarterback. He's playing well. I'll put that in the super chat raffle tonight. It is at least a $30 raw card. I saw a BGS 8 of this sell for $30. So an 8. So go figure. We'll do $3 for a super chat and $5 get you 2. So, and the way we will do the shirt is I'll pull 3 names and then ask a question. You guys know how I love quick fire trivia. And that way, I know you're a fan if you can answer the trivia question. So Michael Ham's the first one's going to get 2 in there. Guys, shoot me some comments. Shoot me some questions. What are you guys buying? What are you guys looking at? Are you selling anything? Charles, what's up? Charles, I saw your post on Instagram about Marvel cards, and my immediate answer was, you were like, why are famous people like Steve Aoki and things like that investing in Marvel cards? My first thought was, well, they probably have the extra income or the extra revenue to do so. That was originally my first thought, because it is a market that nothing, it is kind of a niche market. You don't know that much about it. And a lot of times people who collect Marvel cards collect them because they like them. I don't know if they're holding them for long-term value. I think they can have long-term value. That's not me saying, hey, they're a bad investment. They're great to collect. I think they're even better to collect. I think they're solid to speculate on, but I think they're even better to collect. I have a bunch that I've been picking up that I collect. I've been, I like the 75 stickers. I had the 3 here. Black Widow, Doctor Strange, and Iron Fist. And I just got 3 more that I'm going to put on a video, but I'm spoiling my videos. But I got a Doctor Doom, Invisible Woman, and Luke Cage. So I got those 3 now. These are all PSA 9s. And I have 2 more on the way, which will be in a video. Guys, I have a video coming up, an out-of-the-box video. I know I haven't done one of those in a while, and I know you guys used to like those. So I'm doing an out-of-the-box video. I've been buying a lot of stuff that isn't your typical sports. I'm dabbling in other sports, certain players for certain reasons other than their production. So, again, Doodad, what is up? Doodad, thank you for that. I'm going to have you going in here 2 entries into the super chat. If the super chat gets pretty full, and I'll add a card, maybe a slab to it as a 3rd prize. So we'll see how it goes. Look, I just put a sticker on everything and I make it official. This is the official Flippin' Steve raffle box, and then I got the official Flippin' Steve water bottle. Not really, it's just a water bottle with a sticker on it. So do what you can do. So here we go. Let's go. The Eagles are looking into trading for Deshaun Watson. I have not seen that. That is possibly correct, but I have not seen that. Miami's probably going to need to do something. I'm a Dolphins fan. I don't want them to go the Deshaun Watson route until they're know if he's going to be able to play or not. But, I think that's what everybody's waiting on. 357 says, I don't know if comic and coin grading existed before sports card grading. Coin grading, I believe it did. Comic book grading, I'm not 100% sure when CGC started. But coin grading, because coins have been around longer than all of this stuff. So as far as authentication and grading goes, I think coins may have been first. But again, I think, it's not I'm not telling you anything for sure. Who will be the Randy A for this year's Major League Baseball playoffs? You mean as a player that just comes out of nowhere, or somebody who there's somebody that I think could steal the spotlight in the playoffs, and it's just all speculation. So it's a thing where people got to be careful what they say, because then all of a sudden you're like, you say something and then like boom, people are off to the races trying to buy their cards. But I've just been looking at Jordan Alvarez stuff a little bit because the Astros are a really good team. They're going to be in the playoffs, and I could see him hitting some home runs as they pitch around some of those other guys, and I could see him being key in a playoff series for Houston. Do I think Houston's going to win the World Series? Not likely, but though I think he can be a guy that can be a key factor and get himself some national recognition because that's what he needs. He doesn't have he's got solid numbers, but he doesn't have a lot of TV time. You know, Houston's not on television that much, you know, internationally. They are maybe in their area, but I mean, as far as across the country. So to get some national exposure for a player like Alvarez on the big stage, if he was to perform, he could be a guy like that has a solid price point, you know, as far as your risk is concerned. Neo, did I watch the HGA video yet? Which one? I watched the one. No, if they dropped their announcement video today, then I haven't. I've been asleep. I just woke up. Like again, work has got me on the overnight shift temporarily, so my hours are all screwed up, and I'm sleeping in the middle of the afternoon. So I only saw the one where the slabs had come apart. Smoking Card says he's buying classic soccer goats and greats right now. You think they're undervalued? All in the market's a weird place. They are, and they had a point in time where they kind of spiked in price, just like everything else did, and then they've come down like everything else has, and they haven't seen much of a bounce back. It's going to be a little bit tougher with soccer greats because, you know, like I have a Bobby Charlton PSA 8 rookie, and he's a soccer great, and a lot of people don't know who he is unless they followed soccer for a long time. It's just it's tough. First of all, it's tough to get eyes on vintage players that were players here in the States in American sports. It's even tougher to get eyes on older players, you know, that played soccer that, you know, in Europe or wherever it may have been. It's even tougher to get eyes on that kind of stuff. See, Jordan is going to come in also. Now, I wonder how many people want the Kyler Murray card. I know everybody's probably like, I'll probably pull the first name and they'll be like, I'll have the Kyler Murray, please. And then everybody will be stuck scrambling for the t-shirt. Thank you for that, Jordan. Sean agrees with Smoking Cards. I believe that is on the soccer take. Do I see Big Ben finishing the season as a starter? I guess they're going to go with whoever gives them the better chance to win, barring injury. So right now, if that's what the team thinks, then yes. And also, it's probably a lot of the decision will be his. Just because they owe him that to an extent, kind of like what happened with Eli Manning. So if it comes to a point to where they really have nothing to play for, they'll probably test out one of their younger quarterbacks. But let's be honest, does anyone backing up Big Ben have any proof that they're going to come in and win? Or, you know, even be an inkling better than what Roethlisberger has been? Is the team bad? Is it all on Ben? Probably multiple things. The defense hasn't looked great, not like you would think for Pittsburgh. Give up a lot of points to the Bengals. And, you know, I don't think they would want to end his career on a benching unless it was by choice, by injury, unless they had nothing to absolutely play for. I think as long as they're contending, they're just going to use him. What's the point in bringing in a Dwayne Haskins or a Mason Rudolph if you're winning? And then if you got nothing to play for, then that's when you replay them. I don't think they're going to make a shift saying so-and-so gives us a better chance to win. Okay, so Neo HGA put out their video on the AI. Charles. So Charles says, love the 75s. You need some. Already know a 76 Vision and Cyclops. How did you know that's the two? You must have them on. Do you have them on eBay watch list or something? Because that's the two that I do have coming in the mail. Unless I'm buying them off you. I do have a Cyclops and a Vision coming in the mail in 1976s. Thoughts on Topps 96 licensed Chrome rookie reprints. Awesome card, and you missed out on last 5 auctions. 1996 licensed Chrome rookie reprint of, I'm not sure what card of who we're talking about. Oh, Michael Jordan. I don't mess around with reprints that much. I just, I mean, they may be a cool collectible or something like that. So, you know, when you're asking me my thoughts, if you like them as a collectible because you want a cool look, something that looks cool, like an iconic card, almost like an art piece, then yes. If you're buying it for like a resale value or as an investment, I would probably say no. Oh, so Neo says the video just dropped an hour ago. I'm surprised you're not working on a video on that, Neo. Trigger Finger, what's up? Talking about Janie Jackson. Anyway, guys, if you missed the very beginning, I am doing a Super Chat raffle tonight. And in the Super Chat raffle, you have a chance to either win the Kyler Murray Premier Level, which is gradable. Send it to SGC for $30 because this and a BGS 8 I just saw sell for $30 on eBay. $30 and a BGS 8. Send this to SGC for $30 if you get it free. And you get a 9 or a 10, you're going to do well for yourself. And the other prize is a Flipping Steve t-shirt. It'll be my second one. This is my first one. This is the only one I have. And I'm going to have one made for whoever wins this Super Chat raffle. It just has the new little logo on the front. And on the back, real quick, I'll show the back. It just says first off the line, and it's numbered out of 50. So first off the line, 1 of 50. So in the bottom of the 1, it says of 50. And Business 124, I did get your name in there. I saw that your Super Chat did pop up, so it has been added. Charles said he was going to buy the 75, 76 stickers. Stay off my stickers, Charles. I'm not going out buying up precious metal gems. And what are you're buying the mid 80 stickers, I believe, also. Jeff's asking about UFC cards. I think there's good upside on 17, 18, 19 Topps Chrome UFC card. Or is Prism better? I know Topps is low print. Just if you're going to go with UFC, collect like the GOATs. I believe there's more upside on the early stuff, the 2013 stuff, items like that. Even on fighters like Ronda Rousey and stuff, who isn't doing much anymore, but she became a household name. You know, a lot of these fighters, even if they're champions, even if they are dominant, even if they're guys like John Jones, who has just dominated everybody, if they're guys like George St. Pierre, I mean, these guys are known in the UFC world and somewhat the sports world, but are they known in everyone's everyday world? Not necessarily. It's like if I went up to somebody and told them who I said, who's John Jones, you would probably have to explain to them who they are. But there's some fighters who have transcended the sport, even if they're not even great fighters anymore or anything like that. And the guys that were around from the beginning when the foundation of the UFC was being talked about, you know, your Ken Shamrocks, your Hoist Gracies, you know, most people need to know jiu-jitsu, some form of it, or at least defense of it these days. And the Gracie family, you know, established that. And then, like I said, like a Ronda Rousey, even like Brock Lesnar, who's a wrestler in UFC, and, you know, and he had some dominant moments, but is he the most dominant heavyweight ever? Probably not. It's just that they've done more than UFC. And again, when I've talked about some of my out of the box investing that I've been doing lately, a lot of this stems around the things that I'm talking about, not just people that were great in their sport, but people that became like pop culture icons or pop culture, at least recognizable within pop culture. Yeah, Trigger, you can flip it out inside out and wear it again, but everything might be backwards. And it's like Charles is talking about a lot of these fighters, Amanda Nunes, John Jones, Usman, GSP. And I know who these fighters are. But again, once you leave the UFC, is there a lot of people who know who these fighters are? It's kind of like F1. Like everybody might know who Lewis Hamilton is, but when you stop when you don't talk about, when you start talking about the other drivers, as everybody know, or another sport like tennis. People know who the top two are that transcend the sport, but they don't know who anybody else is, or golf. A lot of your niche sports that aren't your main 4 or 5. I think that the players can be great, or fighters, the individuals can be great, but they have to do a little bit more. They need to be on television commercials. They need exposure. If not, you're just limited to a demographic of people that are interested in that sport. You know, like right now, the only people like in the F1 market are the people that like F1. So it's kind of like, you know, a niche little section of the hobby. Now, there's big money in that section, yes, because these people are willing to pay big money for these cars. But how long does that last? If it doesn't grow, then how long does it last? Well, Business124 is asking, he saw some of my NASCAR pickups. Thoughts on NASCAR cards gaining steam? F1 is worldwide, but NASCAR is huge in the US. So I picked up some NASCAR cards recently. And again, this is going to be on my out of the box video, spoiler alert. But it's not because I think that NASCAR cards are going to gain steam. That's not why. The reason why is because I told you guys on my last live stream from home. Now, last week, I streamed from Dustin's house. I don't know if you guys missed it or not. And then, but the week before, I was telling you guys stories about when I would park cars at Dover Downs growing up, and some stories about NASCAR growing up. And it's very nostalgic to me. So I bought a couple NASCAR cards for myself, for my personal collection. With that being said, when I look at the price, I'll pull one of these cards out. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you've seen this. If you haven't followed me, if you don't follow me on Instagram, here's my plug. Flipping_Steve. Go follow me on Instagram. I'm getting close to 1,000 followers. That would be awesome if I could hit that. And there's a link in the description to get you, or, you know, to tell you what it is if you don't remember. Flipping_Steve. But you see a lot of the cards that I'm talking about posted already. This was posted either yesterday or 2 days ago. And this is a 1995 Classic, was the brand, Finish Line, and it's a Dale Earnhardt Sr. on-card auto. And the auto is, you know, out of 10. The card's an 8.5, which is fine. The autograph is what's important. And, I mean, I picked that up for $300. Okay, I didn't disclose the price on Instagram, but I picked it up for $300. And the thing is that you can buy a Topps Chrome PSA 10 like Lewis Hamilton for like close to $1,000, probably for a base. At least it's probably at least $700 or $800 for a base. For like a Prism Hailie Deegan, which is NASCAR or Truck Series or whatever she drives, and she's not even the first female in the sport, you know, you can buy her Prism in like a PSA 10 for like $300 or $400. Or you can buy a Dale Earnhardt on-card auto, pack pulled, right? Pack pulled, already graded of the GOAT for $300. To me, it just doesn't make sense. To me, I look at it as a common sense thing. And I'm like, $300 for Hailie Deegan, who, if she doesn't win tons and tons of races, will just be the next Danica Patrick, where she's popular now, and that's about it. F1, you know, Lewis Hamilton, 2020 or 2021 Topps Chrome product, or Dale Earnhardt, the GOAT, who passed away, will never sign another autograph again, and has very few products that actually is a pack pulled auto. To me, it just doesn't make sense. Where am I going to put my $300, especially for my collecting and my PC, and also from an investment standpoint? It's I'm going with this, but you know, for each their own. Sean says he agrees. The more obscure sports need to have someone who can cross into the mainstream. Otherwise, they're a tiny market. And they can be, you know, valuable within that market if there's enough money being traded hands in that. But, you know, we got a Siakam comment with someone else talking about Siakam. I'm not sure. But Cam B says Siakam is a bum. Prices are where they should be. Dirt cheap. I think he might be injured to start the season. I'm not really sure. Dave is asking. Okay, so Dave's asking about Siakam. The thing, yeah, that's the thing about Siakam. He could be moved at the deadline. And if he moves to a team like Dallas, who needs to make a move, then yes, you will see increase in his cards. Now, to Camby's argument of him being a bum, he's not a bum. I mean, anyone who averages, over 20 points a game, and almost double-digit rebounds isn't a bum. Is he quiet? Yes. Did he struggle in the playoffs? Yes. Is he a superstar? Maybe not. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's a bum. He's the type of player that can make your team better, but is he a number one? That's the kind of the question. He's probably not a number one, but he's a good number two on your team. And I don't mean my position. I just mean like a good, if he was playing with Luka, he would be a great player on that team. TheCardDeal.com says diecast cars are collected big by NASCAR. Introduced cards, I feel, can correlate and take off. My father was huge in collecting the diecast cars. He has tons of Darrell Waltrip, Tony Stewart. I think he likes Kyle Larson now. My dad's huge into NASCAR, and he collected the diecast. And I do know that there's a big market on those diecast cars, especially the rare ones that either have certain paint jobs or whatever, that paint schemes on them or whatever they may be. I don't know a whole lot about them other than my dad buys them and they're expensive. So, there is a collector base on those. And most of the time, your NASCAR fans are going to be your super fans when they come looking for a card or something like that. Jeff Bjorklund says, best investment is sealed wax year in, year out. Even if the main players in the product go down, the wax still goes up. Risk-free move. You still got to find a buyer for it. That's the only thing. If the players in the product go down, people aren't going to want to buy it. So what drives prices on stuff is supply and demand. There may be less and less supply as stuff gets busted, but if there's nothing desirable in the wax, then the demand isn't going to go up. I mean, look at 92, look at the 92 and early 90s and late 80s junk wax. There's lots of it. People don't want it because there's lots of it, and there's nothing to pull out of it. If a $3,000 box of National Treasures basketball, if LaMelo Ball ends up being a bust and there's not a single star out of last year's rookie class, I don't see any that could become a $4,000 box because that's what a retailer decides to put on it, or the owner decides that they want for it. That doesn't mean that's what somebody's going to give for it. And if there's nothing in there worth pulling out of it, people aren't going to want to pay that for it. 357, I'm not in South Carolina. No, I was in North Carolina last week, but I'm not in South Carolina. Yeah, TL says Siakam is solid. He's not a superstar. He can be a 2 or a 3. I agree with that. We've seen that. Like, I believe he's won a title with Kawhi there in Toronto. Trigger, how will Luka's cards go up this year if the Mavs don't get out of first round of the playoffs at best? Why aren't they grabbing a few bad contracts to give Luka some help? I agree. I don't know why they're not giving him any help. I don't know if they're strapped for money. They traded Jason Richardson to the Celtics, I believe. I'm not sure what they got in return. They didn't move Porzingis, so maybe that's their thought. Maybe they're just like, okay, Porzingis had a bad year. We bring in a new head coach with a new system with these guys, and maybe that's what we need. So maybe the coaching move is what they thought was the catalyst they needed, or what they were lacking as opposed to talent. Maybe it was the coach. So that's what they did. Porzingis is still there. We've seen them play great together. We just need to see more of it. As far as Luka's cards go, his cards have already seen a surge because the modern NBA market has seen a surge on color, on parallels. Parallels and color have seen. Now, base cards have kind of remained stable. I don't know if base cards are going to move, but even basic color like silvers and hollows and stuff have gone up in value, and people want that stuff. I've been at shows in the last 2 weeks, And especially this past week in Philly, that's all anybody wanted was ultra modern basketball. Color, hollows, silvers, reds, blues, color matches, whatever. People wanted that stuff like Skittles. They were like wanting to taste the rainbow, I guess. But so JG says Haley Deegan is a solid investment. I don't know enough about her. I mean, what has she done? I don't know. Does she have a good future? I mean, is she a solid investment at her price point is the question. I believe that a lot of the stuff, a lot of what you're paying for her cards right now is kind of like based around what she may do as opposed to what she's already done. And if she doesn't live up to what she may do, then you're in at a pretty, what I think is a steep price, considering what else you can get for your money. So you're in at, more of a high risk. And if she does do well, it's kind of expected. Right now, I think she's just kind of buzzy, along with a couple other drivers out there. I remember the days before sports cards when there was like Patty Moise and Shauna Robinson. They were like the two first female, two of the first, maybe not the first, but two of the first female NASCAR drivers. And probably half of the people in the chat have never even heard of their names. Theodore saying the M&M car and the Kellogg's car. I'm not sure who drives for M&M's nowadays. Is it Kurt or Kyle Busch? Maybe Kyle Busch. I don't know who drives. And Kellogg's, I don't know who drives now either. I know Terry Labonte drove Kellogg's back in the day. I don't follow NASCAR that much these days. D-Team Sports Car says Bagley is the next Giannis. You've been loading up on him. Just picked up 10 base prisms for $2 a piece and 4 PSA 9s for $11 each. His prices are really low. I have looked and I've been like, his prices are so low. Is it worth the gamble? Maybe it is, and hopefully you strike gold there. Saying he's the next Giannis is tough, because Giannis has 2 MVPs and a championship already. Bagley's on Sacramento. I mean, they're a bad team unless he becomes the next Giannis. He would have to become the next Giannis for that team to be good, especially in the West. So there's a lot of question marks around that, and he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Everyone in every single draft there's busts in every draft. It's just a fact. Go back and check history. There's more busts than there are successes. I mean, you're looking at 2018 and you're looking at Trae Young and Luka already being successful. And then guys like Michael Porter Jr. are on the verge, and he just got a huge contract. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was in that draft. He's played well on a poor team. Colin Sexton has played well on a poor team. Someone has to be the bust of the draft. It's just law of percentages. I'm not saying that it's Bagley, but when you start to see more and more people from a certain draft class be good, law of averages says that some of those guys are going to just be bad, and they're just never going to live up to what their teams drafted them to be. Joel's asking my thoughts on MetaZoo. I don't have any thoughts on it. I kind of looked it up one day when he messaged me about it, but I don't know that much about it. And it's another one of those things where for myself, you just can't get involved in everything. Could it be the next Pokemon? It maybe, who knows? But it could also be the next Yu-Gi-Oh, which Yu-Gi-Oh isn't Pokemon. It's not along that popularity. So I don't know. Well, you have big time influencers talking about it and pumping it. You never know. It could become popular in the short term just because influencers like Jeff are talking about it and things like that. But them talking about it, does that warrant it being hot? Does that warrant it being good? Because I've heard, there's lots of things I've heard these guys talk about in the past as being good, and they were just flashes in the pan that are no longer good. They basically rode the wave of the pump, and then nobody cared. Jeff is asking if KPJ is a good buy. This is a tough question because I was gonna put out another video of like I did a couple weeks ago with Jaw and Hero. I was gonna put out a video KPJ versus MPJ. I was actually gonna do who's your PJ and maybe MPJ, KPJ, or PJ Washington. But anyway, KPJ, he's very risky. I know a lot of like people in the hobby are showing high end KPJ cards that they're buying. The reason that they're buying him is because he's one of the lower price points that has a chance to get a surge on like a 40-point game. I don't think anybody's buying him with the hopes of holding him long term. You know, I think he's one big mistake from being kicked out of the league. So, talent versus mentality. And then you have, you know, he can score points. We've seen that. Will he be healthy? Will he have his head on straight? He's in Houston. That's not a very good franchise. John Wall, I think they're trying to buy him out. But KPJ will be probably their main go-to guy. But how far do you see that team going? Do you see him being on the All-Star team? Do you see him being in the MVP race? Do you see Houston in the playoffs? You know, so is he a good buy long-term or short-term also? Is that your question? Do you buy him now at whatever his price may be? I know optic hollows fall around 220 to 240 because I have looked at that card, full transparency. But is that the kind of card that if you buy it for $240 and he comes out and puts up a couple 30 or 40-point games early, do you then try to sell that off for like $450? Or do you hold it long term and then it just becomes old that he's scoring points? He's not an all-star. He gets hurt. Houston sucks, you know, whatever. And now you're back to your entry-level price of $240 because you didn't move it after a couple hot games. Or does he become a perennial all-star? I don't know if perennial all-star is in the books for him. But he's a good scorer. But is he another Colin Sexton? Colin Sexton is another one of those guys that's on a bad team, scores a lot of points. He's exciting. People like to see him, just like De'Aaron Fox. And I like De'Aaron Fox. You know, he scores points. He averaged over 25 points a game. But what do you see for him, you know, from a long-term standpoint? Or is it just a buy and flip as soon as you can? Tweets 3 hours ago that Deshaun Watson may be moved. Thoughts? If I had a nickel for every time I got this comment since everything that went down with him has happened, it's just like at this point, where's he going to go? What are they going to give up for him? You know, is it really going to happen? Until it happens, it's just a rumor. And, you know, oh, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, gotcha on that with the Camby. Yeah, and that's the thing I was talking about Camby is if you could buy, you would be buying Siakam low and hoping that he got traded, and then you would more than likely you would sell into that hype. All right, guys, a lot of comments just flipped by. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Let's see. Still talking about Siakam, a PSA 9 optic is 15 to $20, much lower pop, easily can double. Yeah, when you have low pops, it doesn't take much for the cards to go up. But when you have huge population reports and you're talking about a big supply, even if demand really goes up, it has to meet the supply. So on a player like Siakam, who probably doesn't have a whole lot of graded cards, period, and it's probably not going to have many more once PSA gets through their backlog because nobody's going to want to submit his cards at the prices. Then if a player like that, a player that doesn't have many graded cards out there, you know, that could be a good, you know, that'll be a good thing because there's certain players that don't meet the criteria for getting graded these days, not with grading card prices. So when those players do come out of nowhere and do well, or something happens exciting in their career, a trade or something like that, an all-star appearance, then there's just not a lot of slabs out there graded because nobody was thinking to get this player graded. It just wasn't worth it. But then all of a sudden it becomes worth it. especially in a world of where people are preferring slabs to raw cards. Tal's talking about DeAndre Hunter. You know, I like DeAndre Hunter there, Tal. I think he's a sleeper. I actually saw an NBA fantasy basketball article today talking about fantasy sleepers this year, and DeAndre Hunter was like one of the top ones on the list. So in fantasy, if he's a sleeper, then maybe he's a sleeper in the card world. Who knows? He's on a pretty good team, so he'll get notoriety for being a good team. And if he performs like he was performing last year before he got hurt, then that'll be great, I think. He's in a big market. People in Atlanta love the Hawks. Global Sports Card Investor. Now that I've had a full year to look at last year's rookies besides the top 3, are you interested in prospecting on anyone? And I guess you're talking about the LaMelo Ball class. The only one that I'm prospecting on, and it's completely a prospect, and it's only because it's cheap and you can get decent cards of his in color for cheap. I showed these 2 live streams ago. Tyrese Maxey. He played well for them in spurts last year, showed that he can score. You can pick up like a red prism cracked ice, which is also kind of like a color match for the Sixers. He's always on a good team in the East with an MVP type player like Embiid. Simmons might be moved or probably will be moved. I believe it's going to open up some opportunity for Tyrese Maxey. He's played good in the summer league, and his cards are cheap. So if I'm going to, to me, that checks a lot of boxes when I'm prospecting, but it's completely prospecting. And it's like $10 a card. So E-Man says Jamal Murray is a good buy in your opinion. But here's the thing about Jamal Murray. The Nuggets just give MPJ a huge contract extension. To me, they might be going the other way. If it comes to, hey, we got to get rid of one of our young, talented players. Now, does that make Jamal Murray appealing from, hey, when he's healthy, he might be moved, or when his contract is up, he might be moved? Yes. That also tells me that they're probably really worried about that knee. Even though MPJ has had like back issues, they're willing to give out that kind of money for somebody like him. That means they're making MPJ their however for the next however many years. At least their guy with Jokic. And the team got to play a lot last year without Jamal Murray, and they were successful. Now, they were eliminated in the playoffs, but they were successful without Jamal Murray. So the blessing in disguise for the Nuggets, even though, Jamal Murray getting hurt is a terrible thing for your team, but the blessing in disguise was, hey, can we be successful without him and maybe use our money and resources elsewhere? And the answer was yes. Now, that's not taking anything away from Jamal Murray's talent or him being a good player. But if you're, an owner of a team or a general manager of a team and you look at it from that aspect and you're like, we were successful without him, is there better ways for us to use our resources? Then maybe a player like Jamal Murray could find himself on the outside looking in, or being moved for a couple more players, or being moved for draft picks or something like that. Now, that can be completely wrong because I'm not the general manager of the Denver Nuggets. But I'm just thinking, if I was, that's how I'd be looking at it. You got to find the silver lining in anything. Okay, yeah, Jamal Murray got hurt. He tore his knee up. That's terrible for him. It's possibly terrible for the team. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, it wasn't so terrible for the team. See, E-Man, the ball runs through the Joker there, E-Man. The Joker's like a point center. The team leader in assists, I'm going to guess, is Jokic on that team. They have 2 offenses that they run. They run one through Murray and they run one through Jokic, but Jokic handles the ball just as much as anybody on that team. The best Jamal Murray we've ever seen was the bubble playoffs when he was just playing lights out of this world. And then he was playing last season regular season fairly average, especially in comparison to that bubble performance that he put up. I think everybody remembers because it was such a great performance that he put up that it's easy for that to have a long lasting impression on your mind, how he was playing out of this world in the bubble. But then last season, he was average. I mean, I don't know what his points per game were, but he wasn't like coming out and scoring, 30 points a game or even in the top 5 in scoring or anything. Jokic was the MVP because, make no bones about it, the ball goes through Jokic in Denver. And then Michael Porter is more of the complementary player because the ball doesn't have to go through him, but he can knock down jump shots. Let's see. Adam says, I'm mixing up the days to keep you on your toes. Yeah, I'm trying to keep myself on my toes as well. Also, real quick, I don't have a banner or anything going across the screen. If anyone is interested in the Super Chat raffle, it's $3 for 1 entry. It's $5 for 2. Giving away a Kyler Murray Select Premier level. This is easily a $30 raw card. I looked it up before I came on because I didn't want to be giving away a cheap card. I saw a PSA 9 sell for like 70. And a BGS 8 sell for 30. So it's easily a $30 raw card. Or you can pick and get a t-shirt, a Flipping Steve t-shirt with the first off the line on the back, and it'll be numbered. And this is the only one. So whoever wins tonight will get my second t-shirt ever made, and it'll say 2 of 50 on the back, first off the line, 2 of 50. I'm going to look this up. Connor says Murray is a beast when healthy. I'm going to look this up because I know he's a good player. I mean, I was buying his cards at one time. I'm not saying Jamal Murray is a bad player. I'm just saying you got to look at it from the team perspective. But I am going to look up his stats from last season before the injury. Adam, thank you for that. I'm entering you into the raffle right now. Let's take a quick sneak peek at Jamal Murray. Because he's still going to be out. He's not coming straight back. You type in Jamal Murray, and the first headline you get is Michael Porter Jr. gets paid. So you type in Jamal Murray, and the first headline that pops up on Google is about Michael Porter Jr. All right. What are the turnaround times on the t-shirts? I actually had this one made in like a day. So, yeah. My Slabs is rejecting nude slabs. You think Trigger offended them? What do you mean by nude slabs? Like, is he sending them Playboy cards or something? I'm not sure. So we got MPJ on here. I'm not MPJ. We got Jamal Murray averaging 21 points and close to 5 assists per game. That's pretty respectable. But earlier we were also talking about Pascal Siakam not being, some people were saying Pascal Siakam is just a number 2. He's not that great and things like that. And if you look up Siakam's numbers, he was the same. So Pascal Siakam averaged 21 points and 5 assists, or 4.5 assists and 21.4 points. So Pascal Siakam, who's not even a guard, okay, averaged the same amount of points and assists as Jamal Murray. So just put that into perspective. I think both players are good players. So I'm not saying Jamal Murray is not a good player, but put that into perspective. Jamal Murray is giving you Pascal Siakam numbers minus the rebounds, because Siakam has also got 7 rebounds per game. So in a nutshell, how many people would have thought something like that? Like I said, where those Playboy cards you open at the weird dinner during. Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that. We were out to dinner at the National, and Michael had some Playboy cards or something. I don't know where he got them from, but anyway. But yeah, that's an interesting stat line that Pascal Siakam and Jamal Murray are, both average 21 points and close to 5 assists per game. And everybody's looking down on Pascal Siakam, and everybody's looking up on Jamal Murray. And I believe they may be from the same draft class or the same rookie class. Jordan come in hot again. Let's see. So Charles is asking if I'm going to the National next year. That's the plan. The National's not far from me next year. The National's only in Atlantic City. And I just drove to Philly for the Philly show. They're both about the same distance away. So yeah, I definitely plan on going. I mean, a year away is a long time. You never know what could happen with the career, with anything, with life within a year. But the plan right now is to be there. Tal says his super sleeper is Terrence Mann. Kawhi is out months. He was their second best offensive player next to PG-13. I have given this some thought, but he was their second best offensive player, but he was inconsistent. Like, he had that real big, like, for his prices, I don't think he's worth it. Okay, that's just where I'm going to put this one. Is he a sleeper as a player? Yes, but I think a lot of people think that already. So because a lot of people think that already, his cards are already inflated. He's another one of those guys that isn't going to have a lot of graded cards like I talked about earlier, which means the slabs that he does have out there are going to have, low supply, and there's enough demand to make him expensive because a lot of people are thinking that he's a sleeper. Tal, you're not the only one thinking that. I actually looked his cards up because it intrigued me a little bit. And then I also looked up his performances, and I was just like, okay, he's very inconsistent. Is the team going to be really good? He was the second best player to PG-13. I don't know if that's saying a whole lot. And his price point to come in. Like, I just feel like we talked about DeAndre Hunter earlier, and I felt like Terrence Mann was almost priced like that. And I think for my money, if I had to pick, if you just had money to throw around and you wanted to throw darts at lots of individual players, you didn't care where you won and where you lost at, then yeah, go ahead. But I mean, if you are like, hey, I got this much budget and I need to put it into, superstars, all-stars, prospecting, and you want to divvy it out, then I just think that there's some sleepers / prospects that I would rather put my money into. I'd rather buy a $10 raw Tyrese Maxey red ice than buy a Terrence Mann base prism for probably at least $100 is probably what it's going for graded. I just look at my risk reward and upside on that, and I'm just like, if Terrence Mann crashes and burns, you're in. You're in for a decent price. If Tyrese Maxey crashes and burns, you're out $10. But that's what's great about the hobby and the collecting and these chats is everyone has a different opinion. Everyone has their sleepers that they like. Everyone has their teams that they like. Everyone has their superstars that they like. Their MVP contenders that they like, and we just talk about it and give our opinions on it. And that's all that they are, is opinions. It's all opinions until there's facts. Let's see. You throw darts at Carson Wentz cards, you dip them in gasoline, light a match, and throw as fast as you can. So Dakota put his video out today talking about some of his takes over the last 9 months, and he talked about the Carson Wentz take. We're 3 weeks into the season. I think any take on any NFL player right now is too early. Now, from a card aspect, myself, I didn't hold any NFL cards going into the season. In fact, I'll probably look to start buying a few NFL cards when some of these teams and players struggle or keep struggling, because then I'll just hold them for a year or whatever. But 3 weeks in is just a tough gauge. Like, yeah, Sam Darnold and Carolina are 3-0, and people are calling Sam Darnold the GOAT. I mean, I think that's a joke. I think they're just joking. I don't think they're honestly saying that. At least I would hope not. And then, they haven't played anybody. They played the Saints at home, which Jameis Winston looked godly awful. Believe me, I was there live for that game. I was in Charlotte. And they played Houston, and they've played the Jets and the Jets. I mean, they haven't played anybody. And Sam Darnold, he probably has Jimmy Garoppolo type numbers. Honestly, he's 3-0, but his stats, he doesn't have a gaudy stat line. He's not even owned in any of my fantasy leagues. So if he's not owned in a fantasy league, that means he's not blowing up the stat sheets. So, everybody out there saying Sam Darnold was a win. No. Everybody out there saying Jameis Winston was a win. Not really, because he wasn't cheap and he's been inconsistent. And so anybody out there saying Carson Wentz was a loss, we're 3 weeks in. If he gets healthy and he turns it around, I think it's too early to throw in the towel on any of your players in the NFL. If they're struggling right now, I think it's too easy to throw in the towel. But if you got some guys that are hot, it might be the time to move on them. Can Kyler Murray play any hotter than he's already playing? I'm not sure. Can Matt Stafford play any better? I mean, he's been great. And legitimately great. And we knew this. Russell Wilson. And this is what I talked about a couple weeks ago when I said, are you surprised that Matt Stafford is playing great? Are you surprised that Russell Wilson is playing great? These guys have always played great their entire careers. They were just situations, their cards were going up because they had a good week one, but was it a surprise? And Matt Stafford's always been a good quarterback. 600-pound deadlift, that made me laugh. He said Carson Wentz is dookie. Yeah, he hasn't been very good. I have zero invested in Carson Wentz. I don't have a single card. In fact, I own more Jacob Eason cards. And I only own one Jacob Eason card because I sold all of those when he was supposed to become starter week one. You guys remember Carson Wentz got hurt the weekend of the National? And Jacob Eason cards caught fire. That's when I sold all my Jacob Easons. And then Carson Wentz ended up starting week one. That was really weird. Yeah, Theodore's talking about it's way too early. It is kind of early on your football guys. I mean, Kyler Murray started off this hot last season. If you don't remember the first 4 weeks, he was lights out the first 4 weeks of the season. And the same thing happened with his cards. It's happening now. He then got a little bit banged up on his shoulder. He never played the same. So we'll see what happens if Kyler Murray continues his hot streak. What happens if Carolina comes out and loses 2 of their next 3 games or all 3 or if they continue to win, Trigger's talking about Hurts, people hating on Hurts. I don't know how Hurts did the other night because I was working while that game was on. I just know the final score was not good for the Eagles, especially considering it was a divisional game against the team that you really want to beat. Because if you're an Eagles fan, you absolutely hate the Cowboys. Brett Mandel, what's up? He says, do I think the NBA market is about to boom? If so, what's the timeline you have in mind? Definition of boom. As an entirety of a market, no. Ultra modern market is going to, it's already seeing spikes. It was the talk of the show in Philly this past weekend. That's all anybody wanted to buy. And there wasn't a lot of it for sale. In fact, I mean, I sold all of my Michael Porter Jr. cards. I told you guys this on the live drive home from Philly, but lots of people asking about it. I went to a trade show or a trade night. That's all really people were looking to trade. People were asking for the usual suspects. You know, I can name the names, but you guys know who the usual suspects are. But people were asking for all those guys from 2017 and up, the young players that the NBA, you know, the young guys that are established and becoming the NBA hot players now. Everybody was asking for them. Not a lot of people selling them. If they were selling them, they were selling them above comps because everybody believes that the NBA market is about to get hot and stuff is going to see percentage increases. So people are already pricing at what they think the percentage increases are going to be, which is fair because for myself, I wasn't selling my this whole middle row right here. This is modern NBA. There might be a couple more cards straggling around the sides, but this whole middle row was modern NBA. And every time I went to a table, I told them my modern NBA wasn't for sale, but they still wanted to buy it off me. The only modern NBA cards I got rid of was I got rid of one of my Donovan Mitchell optic hollows. So I still have 4. I still have 2 purples and 2 hollows, but I got rid of one of my hollows. I got rid of my De'Aaron Fox hollow. And that's because I traded those for a card to put away into my PC. I picked up, you guys saw this probably already. I'm doing a video tomorrow with all my pickups from the last 2 weeks. But I traded that Donovan Mitchell and that De'Aaron Fox, those optic hollows, for this Shaq. Shaq National Treasures on-card auto. It's a white box 1 of 1. So it's not like a stamped factory 1 of 1, but it's the 1 of 1 white box. So still pretty rare. And I don't have any Shaq autos on my collection. So, you know, Lakers uniform, on-card, 1 of 1. I traded those 2 modern basketball cards for it. Because people wanted liquid, ultra-modern basketball that they can sell. Would it have been easier for me to sell those 2 than it will be for me to sell that Shaq? Probably, because modern basketball is very liquid right now. 1 of 1 Shaq autos, I don't know how liquid that is. But to me, 2 young players for a Shaq auto was just, you know, was just made sense for me. Let me see. Thoughts on Jaren Jackson possibly have a breakout year everyone's been waiting for. That's the thing. Everyone's been waiting for it. There's lots of guys that are hobby favorites. As in, people are waiting for that breakout game. Maybe someone talked about a player in the past. I remember Sports Card Investor before he was a huge channel, when Jeff was just like someone like me who would just talk. And I remember he was talking about Jaren Jackson Jr., and he gained a lot of popularity. That player gained a lot of popularity based around what people were hoping what he may do, and not based around anything that he may have ever done or ever do. But him, Kevin Porter Jr., Keldon Johnson, that's just a few names in the hobby. There's quite a few that people want to see come out and do well. So they're players that people like. So if they do come out and show that, hey, they can be a good player in the NBA, then yes, they will see market bumps because their cards are pretty low right now. But again, do you see them have any longevity? You know, can he have a breakout year? Can you buy his cards cheap now, him come out and have a solid year, and you flip them for 25 to 30% profit? Because you're not going to see 100% gains this season. And, you know, it's just not – the market's not where it was at. It's not as insane. People are smarter. Anybody looking to double up on their flips, you know, it's just not going to happen like that this year. If you buy a card for $100 and you think you're going to be able to sell it for 200, now that's reasonable. That is a double up. That's reasonable because that's a low price point card. But if you're buying a $800 card and you think you're going to be able to double up to $1,600, now you're talking about you got to be a little bit more realistic. If you buy an $800 card and it hits $1,200, you're probably going to want to move it for your $400 profit. You know, don't get greedy and try to double up on players. So players like the aforementioned, Jaren Jackson Jr., Kevin Porter Jr., these guys are on teams that probably aren't going to go very far in the West. So you're going to have to move their cards after a hot night or after a couple hot games or something like that. And then, wash your hands of it and get into your guys that are your perennial all-stars and things like that. Like, I didn't sell any of my Tatum cards. I like Tatum. I have a Jaren Jackson Jr. card, since you're asking. I have a blue mosaic right here, PSA 10. But again, it's not a base. A Prism base of his is probably going to be hard to move, even if he has a really good night. But a color match mosaic with low pop on it, because I bought this card cheap at like $100, it's probably not going to be hard for me to sell it for 150 or 175. And Glorious P, what's going on, man? I've been watching some of your videos. See that eBay's been giving you a tough time, man. And I'm going to address this really quickly because I had a problem, and I pretty much have given up. It's been almost 2 months now. And I'll get to your comment in a second, Inglorious. I live in a tax-free state. So I have the benefit of not having to pay sales tax on my eBay purchases. Now, I know lots of you guys probably do, so you're probably like, oh, why is he whining about this? And I'm not. It's just, to me, it's more of the fact, or the point, the principle. It's the principle. I bought a Daniel Jones Select. I think it was a white Prism. I bought it a while back because I sold that card at the National. So that goes to show you how long I've had it. I bought that card on eBay. I sold it at the National in July. So that's been at least this long ago. I was charged sales tax on that card of like somewhere around $20. I can't remember if it was over or a little bit under. And I was like, I contacted eBay and I'm like, why? First, I contacted them on their text thread or their text message. And I'm like, why am I getting charged sales tax? I've been on eBay for 20 years. I've never had to pay sales tax. This is the first time I've ever had to pay sales tax. I live in a tax-free state. And they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. We made a mistake. I'm sorry. It was a mistake in our database. We'll refund you your money. Okay, so a week goes by and nothing. I call eBay. I get someone on the phone. Took forever, but I got somebody on the phone. I told them my situation. They were like, oh, yeah, that's a mistake on us. We're sorry. Your money will be put back into your PayPal account. So I'm like, okay, cool. Then I let 7 business days go by and nothing happens. I call them again. I tell them again. And they're like, yes, that was a mistake on our part. I see the mistake here. I've actually gotten with the finance department and everything. We see we're going to fix your mistake, sir. And I was like, well, where's the money going to go? Into my eBay account, or is it going to go into my PayPal account? They're going to go, and they said, they're going to go wherever the money's going to go, whatever account you paid out of. I said, okay, well, I paid for the card through PayPal. To this day, I haven't gotten my refund. So we're coming up on October on a card that I bought before July, because I sold it in July, and eBay is still withholding or still hasn't refunded me my $20. Now, $20, whatever. It's not going to break me. The thing is it's the principle. They're a big company. If I sell something on there, believe me, they are not going to forget to take their fees out. If I put up an auction with special listings, they are not going to forget to charge me for those special listings, for those bold prints and things like that. So for them, after all that time, to still not have refunded me my $20 just seems shitty. And I don't think that it's like, okay, I don't think it's shady, because I mean, it's not like eBay's trying to steal my $20. I mean, they're $1 billion company, but it's like, it's still the principle of feeling robbed, because first of all, the way that they destroy us for fees and they get their money from us, but how hard it is for me to get my $20 back that they overcharged me. But anyway, back to this. Inglorious Peace says, to make money in the hobby, do you suggest value boxing or buying slabs and flipping at margins? It's whatever you have your time for. If you can find value boxes and you want to bulk list, and again, I know you're having your issues with eBay, so this is going to be very eBay involved, because if you don't have the means to move lots of low-end cards, then value boxing is tough. But if you can value box, like a $5 to $10 value box, and you can find good cards in there and sell those $10 cards for anywhere between 15 to 20 bucks, or those $5 cards for anywhere from 8 to 12 bucks, then yes, you can do that. And you can do multiple sales and stuff like that. You can do it with ComC, never get the cards sent home to you as well. If you think you can find decent cards on ComC for good prices and just relist them at a higher price, you can do that on Star Stock as well. But we're talking about value boxing. You just got to have the means to move the stuff. And it's going to be raw cards, so you're not going to be able to use platforms like MySlabs and stuff. So unfortunately, eBay has kind of got us, between a rock and a hard place, like the Rolling Stones used to say. But that's one way you can value box. And then buying slabs and flipping at margins, that's the route that I tend to go, just because you don't get the returns and the complaints from buyers on eBay. You do, okay. I've had the worst experience with Pokemon buyers. I still have like 4 Pokemon slabs to sell, and I just haven't listed them because I've had the worst experience with Pokemon buyers. Either they want, and I'll put like 5 pictures of my Pokemon slab. It's not even a raw card on my eBay listing. And then they'll message me and ask for like 10 more pictures. Then they'll buy a card off me and they'll ask me if it's been shipped, like, 20 minutes after they paid for it. Or they'll buy a card off of me and 3 or 4 days will go by and they won't pay. And then as soon as they pay, they're like, are you shipping it now? And I'm like, you waited 4 days to pay and now you immediately want me to ship, and it's a Sunday night. What kind of common sense is that? And then I've also had the most people not pay. And I have sold very few Pokemon cards. Like, I'm going to say 10 to 15 Pokemon cards at the most. And I've done tons and tons and tons of sports cards throughout the years. And I've had like 3 no pays on Pokemon cards. And I might have had 1 no pay out of all my years in sports cards. Like, maybe I've been lucky, but with Pokemon, I just want to get these sold and be done with it, because you get a lot of Pokemon buyers that are they just don't pay. They win your auction and then they just don't pay. But flipping slabs at margins is what I like to do. With me, it's all about price point. It's all about the importance of buying at the basement. And that's why I'm not going to tell anybody to go out and buy Modern Basketball right now. I was talking about Modern Basketball the day after the National. I told everyone, I said, I've moved out of all my football and I am now buying Modern Basketball, because a couple weeks before the season, it's going to be hot and it's going to be too late to buy it. And now if you're buying it at 20 to 25% bumps of what you could have got it for in July. I can already sell my Modern Basketball and be up. I can hold it a little longer and probably be up a little bit more. But for instance, I sold all my Michael Porter Juniors. I had 2 blue velocities. I bought for $175 each. I sold the pair for $500. So I was in on them for $350. But the guy gave me straight up cash, $500 for him at the show. So I made $150. That wasn't a lot of money, but it was pretty good based on what I was in on those cards at. I was in on those cards for $350, and I sold them in person for $500, no fees, $150 cash up, and that's because I was in on those cards at the basement. Could I have waited a week and probably sold them for another $100 between the pair? Probably. But you know what? You can't hold everything. You got to get out of it and start getting back into other things. I'm looking at baseball now. Somebody said earlier that the baseball market is in the toilet. I think it was Theodore might have said it. And I'm actually looking at a couple baseball cards. Michael Ham says he'll print the label when they pay Saturday night and drop it off on Monday. Buyer has no clue. But here's the situation with that Pokemon card. They waited at least 3 to 4 days to pay, and I didn't nag them or anything. And then I just said, please update me on payment. They waited another day, and then they paid. And they paid on a Saturday night. And then, so common sense says, okay, the post office is closed. You paid on a Saturday night. It's Labor Day weekend. It was just recently. It's Labor Day weekend. So Sunday and Monday, the post office is closed. And then they message me. They're like, when are you going to mail that? And I'm like, you took 4 days to pay. You paid on a Saturday afternoon after the post office was closed. It's a holiday weekend. The mail doesn't even run till Tuesday. This is the type of shit you deal with Pokemon buyers. Or they just don't pay at all. I was just happy that they paid. Yes, Joel, people are starting to buy Soto and Acuna Tatis for next year. But that will stop. Once basketball starts, that will stop. There will be another time again. There will be another time again to buy these guys. Soto had a huge run up because he played lights out for the back end of the season. You know, everyone still likes Acuna and Tatis, but it's not even just these guys. There's other guys. These guys are going to always remain hot. These are the guys that these are like the Luka, Tatum, and Trey or Zion of baseball. So these guys are never really going to tank. These cards are never really going to tank. But there are other players out there, such as some of the players we talk about in basketball, like your MPJs. Who's an equivalent of him? Who's someone that people could be prospecting on in baseball that might not be prospecting on now because he didn't get called up, but he might be getting called up next year, and that'll be enough for him to get enough hype to sell. You know, things like that. Yeah, Phil, I still sent it. Michael says, buy your Francos ASAP. Teddy says baseball will pick up during the winter meetings. Quite possible. I'm going to put this back in the box for anybody who missed it on Instagram or missed it earlier. This was my Dale Earnhardt on-card auto. Pack pulled. Congratulations. You pulled an authentic auto. BGS 10 auto. If you have $300, would you buy a Haley Deegan Prism PSA 10 who's in NASCAR? Or would you buy a Dale Sr. on-card auto, pack pulled, already graded? He'll never sign another autograph, unfortunately, and he's the GOAT. I'm just saying, for $300, whether you like NASCAR or not, this is where my $300 goes if I had to make a choice. I've also got a lot of my pickups. I don't know if anybody wants to see any of my pickups on here that I got recently from the shows. I have had a lot of cards that I haven't shown you guys, especially if you don't look on Instagram, because I haven't put out a video talking about showing many of my recent cards. Brett says Dale Sr. all day. Also, guys, if you were late to the live, we are doing a super chat raffle. I'm not going to advertise it many more times, but I want to get people in there. We're either giving away the Kyler Murray Premier level select base, which is the equivalent of a base prism. It is in really good condition. Like I said, you could send it to SGC for $30 or $25 or whatever, and probably do really well on that card. And a T-shirt, a Flipping Steve T-shirt. It'll be number 2 out of 50. So once again, if you haven't seen the back, I'm not a supermodel by any means, but you can see most of the back. It says FOTL for first off the line, and then this one says 1 of 50. So whoever wins tonight will get 2 of 50. The very first person other than myself to have one of my T-shirts. No, Phil, I don't, the T-shirts aren't for sale. I don't have a marketplace. I'm not selling T-shirts. They're just giveaways. So Criminal Mind, I love having Criminal Mind in the chat because he's such a negative guy. He's actually on my almost block list, just like he is on everybody else's. But like I said, it wasn't the hassle of $20. It was the principle. It was the principle of the $20. So with that being said, I'm done with him because I just don't feel like it. Maybe that'll just be temporary. Maybe blowing up too many of my friends' YouTubes and stuff, talking too much crap. He's a keyboard warrior. And I don't feel like dealing with it. So yes, I called eBay for $20 and I blocked Criminal Mind for the hell of it. How about that? Because I can. See, Michael Ham loves prospecting and following the minors. But you like to watch? Yeah, you get to see the guys play. I'm not super into I'm not super into the prospecting on baseball. I'm just not good at it. Just don't know enough about some of the young players. I guess, see, I didn't know if I was the only one that felt that way. Everybody's like, Michael's like, you thought about axing him? Yes, drop the band hammer. See, the thing is I've been talking to, like, I talk to a lot of content creators a lot, and a lot of us have the same people who come on all the time and want to yap. And I'm always like, I hate blocking people on my channel, guys, because I love debate. I love opinions. I would never block anybody for opinions. Somebody might say your take on so-and-so is completely wrong. So you like this player and he sucks. And that's a fine assessment. That's your opinion. But when you start becoming a troll and just being idiotic, that's when I just, I just go ahead and ban now. I don't deal with it anymore. It's not a popularity contest for me. Ziggy says it wasn't me. Look at Ziggy popping in. Everybody must have been over at the maybe I'll get some more views. Maybe everybody's going to come over from off centered now, and maybe watch, hang out. Brett says Major League Baseball playoffs in about a week. We'll heat things up. The one player that I'm looking at heading into the playoffs just for myself is Jordan Alvarez, just because he's been underpriced all year. He's played good enough to where he's finally going to get national attention if they're on television. And if he plays well, he might get some notoriety because he's just kind of the guy that nobody talks about that plays well, that's a young player. Robert DeCarry, what's my biggest sports card regret? I never really like to look back with regret on a sale or anything, but I can tell you one of my regrets, and this goes really, 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 really back far, was not buying a Tom Brady Contenders ticket auto for $12. So, and it's a regret now. I mean, for the past however many years, I didn't even give it a thought, but when I look at it now, I'm like, man, why didn't I buy that card for $12? Why did I put it back in the common box? Basically it was in a bargain bin, and it was back in, 2001 or whatever. And I was buying all the Contenders ticket autos because back then it was actually special to get an auto out of a pack. I showed a 92 Pro Line auto on Instagram today because I remember buying 92 Pro Line football because you got like an autograph in a box. And it was special to get an autograph. You didn't even care who the autograph was. You were just pumped to be like, oh, I got an autograph. That's awesome. It doesn't even matter who it is. But I remember buying up Contenders online ticket, or Contenders on-card ticket autos from 1998 until like 2001. And I was buying up a lot of them because in 1998 is when they first came out, and the Peyton Manning and Randy Moss were big cards in that. One of the ones that I hit on out of that was a Hines Ward. I bought like a Hines Ward for like $6, and I ended up selling that card for a lot of money. It just became a pretty good card. And I bought tons and tons. I would just go through the common bins and buy all the commons. And I couldn't really afford to buy the Randy Mosses and the Peyton Mannings. And then, years later, like in 99, I couldn't afford to buy Donovan McNabb and Edgerrin James and Ricky Williams. I couldn't afford to buy those guys, so I was just buying the commons. I remember one of the ones I hit on also was Torrey Holt. I ended up getting a Torrey Holt. I ended up selling that one pretty good. But I was just buying them out of the common bins, and there was a common bin, and they were marked. It was like a common bin, cards marked as whatever, up to $20. And I bought a bunch of them for $8 a piece and $6 a piece. And there was a Tom Brady, and the card shop owner was like, the Tom Brady's $12. And I was like, why is he $12? And they're like, well, because he's a quarterback. And I was like, well, I can buy two $6 ones for the price of one $12 one. So I bought two more cheap $6 ones. And that's the story of when I had the Brady contenders ticket in my hand, and I just put it back in the common bin. But I mean, as far as regretting it, it's not something I lose sleep over or think about or anything. I'm just like, it is what it is. It was a missed card. Everybody makes good and bad decisions. And at the time, I wasn't even thinking about it as an investment because it was Tom Brady. I mean, who thinks about that? He wasn't even the starter. That was Drew Bledsoe's team. Bichette got 2 homers. He a buy for next season. I like Bichette if his prices creep down a little bit more. He is affordable. Maybe needs to increase his power just a little bit because people love the home run. I mean, you can be a really great ball player because I think Bichette is an awesome baseball player. But people love the long ball, so increase his power a little bit. Inglorious asks, do I think we see pre-pandemic card prices again anytime soon? I don't think so. That was just a perfect storm of things. That's something that just comes along every so often. I mean, actually, I don't think we've ever seen anything like that. But it's just a perfect storm of things that I'm going to say more than likely not. I mean, I never like to speak in definites. I don't like to speak in indefinites because you just never know. But I'm going to say more than likely not. Does that mean that the hobby is on the decline? Does that mean sell everything? No, it doesn't. The hobby is strong. Believe me. I've been at shows the last couple of weeks, and they weren't even big shows. Raleigh was a small show, and Philly is a regional show. And there was lots of buzz, lots of stuff going on, lots of people. There was trade nights. I mean, it was the hobby's strong. But pre-pandemic, that was just insanity. I think we all kind of realized that when that was going on, that was kind of like a moment. Rock Latex says he feels like the postseason is more like a bearish time for a sport. People are hesitant to buy. Yeah, postseason is usually a really good time to buy. Yes, you're right. Like buying basketball in the postseason, especially after a team is eliminated, or buying football in the postseason after a team is eliminated. The best flip I ever had on Lamar Jackson cards was the year that he won MVP. And the Ravens were eliminated by Tennessee early. It might have been first round, but they were eliminated by Tennessee. And that's when I had Ryan Tannehill cards. And I made a bunch of money off those Ryan Tannehill cards. Well, anyway, Lamar Jackson stuff tanked after that loss. Even though he won MVP, his stuff tanked after that loss. And I bought a bunch of select silvers, not prism silvers. I bought a bunch of select silvers because his cards took a 40% dip after that loss. By the time the Pro Bowl rolled around, the Pro Bowl, okay? I'm not talking about the Super Bowl. By the time the Pro Bowl rolled around, Lamar Jackson won Pro Bowl MVP. And I know the Pro Bowl doesn't mean anything, but he won Pro Bowl MVP. And then people were like, oh, yeah, this kid is really good. And just in that 2-week to 3-week period, his stuff shot way back up again. I remember buying after the playoff loss and selling after the Pro Bowl. It was so quick of a window. Sorry, guys, if I missed your comment, you can put it back in there. Richard said, yes, it was a perfect storm. And also not just a perfect storm on the prices. It was also every player and their brother, every bench player who came in and had one decent game. I mean, it was just everybody was just selling for ridiculous prices. And it also has some people in that mindset now where they chase on prospects. And even I'm guilty of it. There's basketball players that I'm prospecting on and could be complete misses. But everybody gets in that mindset. You guys know that I have Tyler Hero stuff. Have I bought any Tyler Hero stuff recently? Not really. Do I think there will be another selling opportunity for him? Yes, but I'm going to have to be smart and do it when it happens. I mean, talking about the modern NBA market this weekend, I sold 2 Rui Hachimura cards, a blue select numbered out of 299 and a red wave premier level out of select. And I sold them for eBay comps to a dealer. That was the biggest mind-blowing thing to me, was I sold them across the table to a dealer, and they gave me full eBay comps, full recent eBay comp sales. They didn't say, well, I'll give you 75% of what the last one went for. Like, I sold one of them for $200. They weren't like, hey, I'll give you, $125 for that. The last comp was $200. No, they were like, I'll give you $200 for it. And they did. I was like, what? Are you really giving me 100% comp on Rui Hachimura? But I did. I sold 2 Rui Hachimura cards. At full comp. About crazy. Get more cheers. Brady or Jones. Tal says he loves prospecting as part of the fun. Yeah, it is fun, especially when you hit. It's like golf. And I don't know how many of you guys play golf. And honestly, I haven't played golf in years. But golf is a super humbling sport. Golf can humble the best athlete in the world. But it's like golf. You can have shitty shot after shitty shot after shitty shot. You can hit 4 or 5 super bad shots in a row. And the moment you hit that perfect sweet shot that just lands and flies exactly where you want it to go, you completely forgot about all the bad ones. And you're like, holy crap, this is awesome. So it's like, so it's like, that's how kind of like how prospecting is. And you can make more mistakes as long as you hit. You can have more mistakes than you do successes, as long as your price points aren't too high. If you picked 5 players and you hit on 2 of them, you're going to make money. You might lose on the other 3, but as long as you're in at smart price point, you're still going to come out on top. So you can hit 2 out of your 5 and win. Tyler Hero is a 0. You own 0 cards of him. Not interested in his game. You will regret that, Bradley. You will regret that. Let's see. Brian says the PSA count on Rui is low. I'm not sure what his base prism count is at. I don't have a lot of base prisms of his. The only prisms of his in base I have are the photo variation, where he's holding the ball instead of looks like he's shooting a foul shot. Doug, what's up? Doug says, what should you buy currently to flip in Philly in December? I'm going to think that in December, basketball is going to still be hot. But right now, I'm not like steering anybody towards modern basketball because the basement's gone on it. So you're going to have to be very selective on your players. You're going to have to look at the players that haven't seen big increases yet. I don't know how you do that. I don't know if you look at eBay sales. I don't know if you use any of the data tools or anything like that. That's the only one good thing that a data tool is really useful for to me, is like tracking your collection and like looking at the basement on cards. What was the basement on a card, say, 3 months ago? and that's kind of it. Like, I don't use it to track like recent sales or anything like that, but trying to find a comp on a card from like 3 months ago can kind of be difficult. So if something is still sitting at July comps, then more than likely it's a solid buy. Now that doesn't mean everything, but I mean, if it's a good solid player, like say for I'm just going to throw a player out there. I have zero idea what this player's cards are going for. But if you took somebody like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and you looked at his July prices and you look at his prices from today, if they're really close or if they're the same, then more than likely he's probably a good person to come in on because he's still at the basement. And he will, see bumps as he plays well. But if you're looking at someone like a Jason Tatum, who in July for Optic Hollow was like $650, and now for an Optic Hollow is pushing $1,000, you're looking at the basement is already gone. So is there any money to be made on Jason Tatum Hollows now if you buy at $1,000? He has to play really good and be an MVP type player, or it's a really high risk. What does he have to do to make his prices continue to go up as opposed to the natural buildup? So like I bought Jason Tatum Optic Hollows then, I haven't sold any of my Tatums yet, but if I was smart, I have shock hollows and regular hollows. But if I was smart, I would probably start looking to sell a couple of those. Now I have enough to where I can hold a couple and sell a couple. But again, you get in on the basement, you could be selling now and making money because everybody wants to buy it. If you're in on Jason Tatum Optic Hollow at $650 and you sell now for $950, you're making $300. So look at those players that haven't moved yet, but they got to be players that you think are going to be really, that are going to have successful seasons or play well or at least score points. Guys talking about Jeff Bagwell. What BGS grade is about the same value as selling a card raw? It's going to depend on the card because a lot of BGS slabs are on your. I like BGS myself for patch autos or autos in general. I like the BGS card grade. So, for instance, here's a card I got in the mail yesterday. I haven't posted it on IG or in a video yet, so another spoiler, but this is an immaculate Larry Bird on card auto. Another Larry Bird for my PC. It's in an 8.5 auto grade 10. Now, this card sells for more in the slab than it does raw because it's graded. The autograph has got a 10 on it. People know that these cards grade tough. So it's going to depend on the card. If I was to buy this card raw, it's probably a $250 card. In the slab, it's probably more like a $450 card. To the right buyer, it could actually be more than that. But especially when you're looking at grading fees and things like that. But like I said, I saw a Kyler Murray, like the one I'm giving away in the Super Chat raffle tonight, in a BGS 8 sell for $30. And I also saw a raw card of this sell for $30. I don't know if that was kind of an outlier because these actually sell for a little bit more raw normally. But I saw a BGS 8 sell for like $33. And I also saw a raw of this sell for $30. But I've also saw a raw of this sell for $60. So it all depends on any given auction, any given. Travis is asking, which show am I going to next? I don't know. I've gotten this question quite a bit the last couple of days, especially from Ryan, because we hung out in Philly from Breakout Cards and Kenny Fornos. We talked for a while in Philly, and I was just like, I don't know, because for a couple weeks in October, I'm going to New Mexico for a vacation, and then I just don't know because I got to have the free time to go because I have to use like vacation time and take off work to go to shows. I don't do shows and cards full time. Cards is not my full time gig. Cards is my hobby and my side thing, regardless of what people want to think. And I mean, I'd like to go to every show that I could go to, but time constraints. Let's see. Justin Herbert looks like the real deal so far. Will you buy any now or in the future? I like Justin Herbert. I liked Justin Herbert coming out of the draft. I was not bummed when Miami was talking about picking him, even though my younger brother was kind of like, no, we want Tua. I was like, I don't know. Justin Herbert is the closest thing to Peyton Manning that I've seen come out of the draft since Peyton Manning, since 1998, from a prototypical quarterback standpoint. Just the way that he looks in the pocket and throws. And I said that to my brother. My brother was like, no, I don't think so. And I just remember liking Herbert then. The only reason, and I've talked about Herbert and not buying his cards, but again, it was nothing against him as a player. His cards are just really high priced. Do I want to spend the types of prices I'd have to spend on Justin Herbert for a player who's 1.5, not even 1.5, but, one season and 3 games in, and he's looked great. Yes. So, but is that a sample size? Is that, I think he has all the measurables to be a great quarterback, but he's always going to be in the West. Does him and Patrick Mahomes become a long-time rivalry? Maybe, and that would be great for the sport. That would be awesome. I can't buy Justin Herbert cards at his prices right now. I could. I mean, I have the money to do it, but I can't get myself to do it. He just, like, his prices would have to come down for me to invest in him. And they may never come down. He may continue to play the way that he does, but I need a window or an opportunity or maybe to trade into something, but I'm not going to cash out of my pocket for a high-end Justin Herbert at the prices that they're going for right now, considering what else I could do with my money. Dexflow says, SCSF thoughts on upcoming. Getting back into because of the cards. I'm not sure what... I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb, but I'm not sure what SCSF is. Let me know what that is, and then I'll... Brett says Beckett raised him. Beckett like Beckett Magazine. You got a team bag, some recent pickups. I don't think so, Trigger, but I was knocked out cold because we were out late because we both went to trade night and came back, and it was a long day. I drove to Philly all day that day, and then was on the show all day, then went to a trade night. Then I was knocked out. You saw me in another YouTuber's video at an NC show. I think you saw me in Kenny Fornos' video because I was I was buying a card off one of his friends. And it was his friend's very first in-person sale. I guess he had only sold online. And there was like deals going down. And he was like, he just sold his card. He just made his first deal in person. He goes, and he made it to Flippin' Steve of all people or whatever. And I was like kind of in the video. I think that's the one you're talking about. Tal says Sasha has been kind of quiet. I just think Sasha, maybe he's just being responsibly quiet because he knows that he can be influential. He is posting on Instagram a lot of the stuff that he's buying. It's also very taxing. It's very grueling. Like YouTube content, putting it out all the time. I prefer my live streams because I can just sit here and chat with you guys and do it. But to put out content all the time, it's time consuming. It takes a thought process. You got to have content to talk about. I don't do news. So when I do content, and I base most of my content around the cards, I'd like to have cards to show you guys in my videos. That's not what everybody else likes to do, but I'm a sports card hobby channel. I like to have cards to show you guys. But to put out YouTube content all the time, now, I have a full-time job on the side. I don't know how many other people do. I know that Dustin does, and I know that Neo does, and things like that. So, and I know Dakota does. So, it's not easy to put out YouTube content all the time. And you can just get burned out on it, to be honest. When I first started, I was doing videos every day or 4 times a week, and you just get burned out on it. CLO says Herbert is better than Tua. Yes, he is better than Tua. That seems to be the fact. Well, Michael Ham, you make a fair point. You say Herbert looks more like Marino to you, but in comparison, I say he looks like Manning because when Manning came out in '98, I said Manning looks like the most similar thing to Dan Marino that I've seen since '84. So by comparing Herbert to Manning and also comparing Manning to Marino, I'm passively comparing Herbert to Marino as well. I was just looking for somebody that was a little bit newer, a little bit, later on down the thing. DR says Easton Stick is Herbert's backup and an exciting young prospect. You like his story? Come out of North Dakota State. You can buy RPA for $10. Cool looking cards. I have some Easton Stick cards. I have some Contenders on card autos. I have an Optic Gold auto, and I, like you said, yeah, you can buy them dirt cheap. I bought them. Bought them for like $5 or $6 or whatever, and I just put them in a box because you just never know what might happen with a young quarterback. It's probably $25 worth of cards that I've wasted on, but again, it would be, it would be a boom if he got into a starting lineup. Ziggy, I don't know if I can make Chantilly. That might be the day after I get back from New Mexico. So it would be tough. Or I may be in New Mexico. You've been waiting 15 months for 5 cards from Beckett. I'm not sure what service level you used, but BGS was talking about at the industry summit about how they're years behind, I believe. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that's what I'm hearing. Tal says Kenneth and Roth cards seem like cool guys. You dig their content. Yeah, they're fun. They're cool to chat with. When I talk to them, and I talk to Kenny more. Kenny seems more, I don't know. I just have conversation with Kenny more. When I'm around, Roth doesn't seem to say much to me or nothing. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like me. I don't know. I don't think I've ever given him a reason to not like me, or maybe he's more shy off the camera than he is on the camera. But I always hold good conversation with Kenny, and I try to talk to him from, because I'm older, so I try to talk to him from a conservative level, like what you guys are doing is cool and all that, but make sure you're smart and you're not, things like that. We were talking a lot about the casino this time because that's what I do for a living. I'm in the casino business, and there was a casino at Valley Forge where the show was being held. And I was just talking to him, and I was giving him the ins and outs and the numbers and the probabilities. And I was like, look, guys, especially Kenny, I was talking to Kenny, and I was like, do good on your cards. Let that be your gamble. Don't go in there and give your money to the casino. And I was like, and I was just breaking things down for him. And I was, trying to be helpful to them from a life aspect because I'm older and I've made a lot of mistakes and done a lot of stuff. And I think that they're 2 younger guys in the hobby that, are doing their thing and having fun with it. And that's awesome. But I was just trying to give them a little bit of advice. Yeah, Inglorious Peace. I bet Sasha puts in the videos is better spent running his business. Sure. What's up? And I hope I pronounced this right. Is this Bodie? Am I saying it correctly? Bodie, what's going on, Bodie? If you're watching the channel, man, shout out. Adam. Bodie, if you can, if you get, and I might have your address or whatever already, but if not, shoot it to me on Instagram. And Bodie, I'll send you a couple stickers if you haven't got any. I still have a few left from the National, which I only had a few of these made for the National. I'll send you one of my National stickers and one of my regular stickers. And who knows? Maybe there'll be something else in there. Shoot me your IG, Bodie. I know it's late. Hanging with Flippin' Steve, man. Thanks. Point Break. Point Break. Great movie. Brian says Kyler Murray is Fran Tarkington. That's an old name to reference. But Fran Tarkington was a beast for back in the day, though. Derek Rubin, how you doing, man? Okay, so what sport do I like collecting / flipping the most? So, for flipping, definitely basketball. For collecting, I collect everything, man. If you haven't, I don't know how long you've been watching the channel or anything, but I collect. I don't collect any certain sport, and most of my PC stuff is crazy stuff. You guys are going to see some cool pickups that I've had this week that I'm waiting to come in the mail. Some new rock and roll sticker pickups, a couple autograph cards, some more of these, the 1975 and 76 Marvel stickers. This is the stuff I like to collect. The 75, 76 Marvel stickers. I got multiples of these. I got 2 more of these coming. These are all PSA 9s, man. These are just hard to find. I like piecing on-card autos of Larry Bird. That's one thing I PC. On-card auto, Cal Ripken, Ernie Banks. This is numbered out of 15 with an auto 8. Ripken Banks, on-card. Numbered out of 15 with an auto 10. That's a personal collection nugget right there. And that's in my recent pickups. All my other personal collection stuff is kind of put away. I just got kind of stuff that I've picked up recently. Oh, another Larry Bird National Treasures game use patch. My first Willie Mays autograph. And it's inscribed. He inscribed it MVP 1954. So the Willie Mays goes into my PC. I got some other autos, but they're not necessarily PC. Prism buyback, Julius Erving on card. This was on my Instagram today. This is numbered out of 9, and it's number 6. So it's his jersey number. So jersey number on card, Prism buyback. But I don't necessarily PC Dr. J. I got a couple of his autos, but I like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird autos. Hall of Fame autos. Here's a patch auto, Joe Namath, flawless on card. That's numbered out of 15. I'm not a huge Joe Namath fan, so I might actually look to sell or trade this. If there's anybody out there that likes Joe Namath, hit me up on IG. Maybe we can do a trade or something. You might have a player that I like in a similar card. But Broadway Joe. But then I also got stuff for flipping, like Colin Sexton Immaculate RPAs. That'll be for flipping. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar National Treasures on-card auto. That's PC. I get that graded and put that away. Kevin Porter Jr. Optic Hollow. That's for flipping. So I collect and I flip, even though the name's Flipping Steve. And I collect autos of Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I got a couple Dr. J's, but he's not really my collection. Cool old Marvel cards. Rock and roll stickers are probably my favorite. I don't know if I have any to show you. Yeah, I do. Rolling Stones, PSA 9 from 1968 or 69. 1968. Pop 3. Jimi Hendrix, one of the GOATs. Snoop Dogg, PSA 8 sticker. None higher. Pop 1, none higher. So I own the best copy of that. None higher yet. But I got some more rock and roll stickers on the way. So Long answer to a short question, but that's some of the stuff. And Trigger is coming in hot and heavy with a long question, but I also see Doug's super chat, which is going to get him 2 entries for a t-shirt or the Kyler Murray. So we'll do that. But so we'll shove this here. All right, here we go. Trigger says, if you had $365,000, 360, that's like $1,000 for every day of the year worth of slabs and a waterproof Pelican case that fell into an ocean on your New Mexican vacation. Is there an ocean near New Mexico? Which 2-person team, 1 diving companion, 1 controller on deck, would you choose to help you retrieve your Pelican case 77 feet below the ocean floor? And why? Your diving companion, DC, joins you in the water. Your controller seat regulates your oxygen and communication from the boat. Mike Trout and Chris Webber, Ricky Waters, and Doc Brown. Doc Brown's Back to the Future, right? Yeah. Kevin Bass. Like Kevin Bass, the old baseball player. And Adam Gase. Anything to do with Adam Gase is already ruled out. Lisa Turtle and Lando Calrissian are Ron C. and Mike McCarthy. You got a lot of like old guys in there that I don't know how. I remember Ron C. was like a pitcher. Kevin Bass, and even though Bass is a good name for somebody that's going to dive, I'm thinking Mike Trout, that's a good diving name too. Lisa Turtle. I'm liking Ricky Waters and Doc Brown. Ricky running Waters and Doc Brown. Because Doc Brown seems like he would be smart. I mean, he's a little weird. But if we messed up, we could just always hop into DeLorean and we could keep trying over and over and over again until we got it right. So I'm going with Ricky Waters and Doc Brown. I do have Marino rookies, Travis. I don't have any graded. All my Marino rookies were collected as a kid and they're raw. The only one I have graded is the 7-Eleven Slurpee disc. And people have seen that so many times they probably don't want to see it again, but it's graded in a 10. If you guys want to see the Marino Slurpee disc, let me know and I'll look for it. But everybody here has probably seen it some time or another. I don't even know if I could easily find it. Oh, your 30-day Beckett just popped from last October. Nothing like 30 days turning into a year. Yeah, E-Man says he bought a couple Nick Foles, and a few years later we won the Super Bowl. That's like me when I bought Ryan Tannehill's when he was a rookie because I was a Dolphins fan. And then I didn't sell him until years later when he was on Tennessee winning playoff games. Yes, casinos do it. In fact, my casino only accepts cash right now. Doug, I got your entries in. I did see your super chat. Thank you very much. You're entered in to win a Flipping Steve t-shirt, which will only be the second one, as well as the Kyler Murray card. Do I play any video games? I play like little small games on my phone. I used to play like Blizzard games. Like I used to play like World of Warcraft. I used to play World of Warcraft quite a bit. It's a bit of an addicting game. It's fun, but I used to play that a lot. I used to play like Rock Band and Guitar Hero a lot. I loved playing the drums and stuff on like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. As far as PC games though, I played Blizzard games like World of Warcraft. It's been a while since I've done that. I probably haven't played World of Warcraft now in going on 2 years, maybe. I do not have any Dak in my collection, Cowboys fan trading cards. And if I was looking to add more, he's playing really great right now, or he's playing really good right now. So it's probably not a good time to try to buy any. And I'm like over 10 minutes behind on the comments, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the bottom. If I missed your comment, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go to the bottom. Okay, so Hobby Hound said you want to see the Dan Marino Slurpee disc, only if it's handy. It's right here. I went ahead and flipped through the box and see if I could find it. The Dan Marino Slurpee disc, 1984, so it's rookie. It came off of a Slurpee from 7-Eleven, but it's got stats on the back, and it's a PSA 10, and it's like a sports flick. So when you turn it, it shows him passing, and it's like a portrait. So passing portrait. Just a cool little pickup, for a rookie type item. I thought it was pretty neat. Music question. Let's go. Music question. What artist / band would you want to see the most that is no longer an option? Soundgarden, probably. If you're talking older, probably Soundgarden or anything Chris Cornell based. Audio Slave, Soundgarden, Temple of the Dog, any incarnation of Chris Cornell, but Soundgarden. What I would like to see Pink Floyd again, but I believe there's only 2 living members left that are together. Roger Waters is still alive, David Gilmour, and Nick Mason, the drummer. But Richard Wright has passed away, and Roger Waters doesn't tour with the band anymore. So you would only be getting 2 members. But I was lucky enough to see Pink Floyd once, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't want to see him again. From band that I listen to the music to regularly, though, probably Soundgarden. And I'll show the Soundgarden Pro Set card PSA 9. Again, somebody was asking about my PC earlier. This is the type of stuff I PC, stuff that really doesn't have a whole lot of value to everyone else, but it has value to me because it just gives me memories and stuff. Do you know any good Led Zeppelin cards to collect, Steve? Inglorious P, check this out. On my next video, my pickups, I bought a 1975 Panini sticker of Led Zeppelin graded in a 6, I believe. It was either graded a 5 or a 6, which is super hard to find or super rare. They're from like Germany or Italy. I'm not sure. But it's just like my Pink Floyd sticker. But I got a Led Zeppelin. I just bought it off eBay. You could probably go search eBay sales and see it before I get it in the mail. I just bought it yesterday. The Led Zeppelin also might have some cards in like 92 Pro Set because they just have everybody in those sets, even like Bob Marley and stuff. But if you're looking for something like, in my opinion, that's special and collectible, look for some of the older Panini stickers. They have older Panini stickers. And when I search my Panini rock and roll stickers, guys, I'm giving away my secrets, but I search Panini Cantanti. I don't put a year on it. Panini Cantanti, which is Cantanti. It's Italian for like singers or whatever, something like that. I search Panini Smash Hits, and I also search Panini Pop Stars. And then there's also Panini Pop and Rock. If you do those 4 searches, you'll get all the different types of years of Panini stuff of when they were printing stickers for their sticker books, like in the 60s all the way up through the 80s. And you can find a lot of your what you call it, a lot of the stickers and stuff like that. That's how I found mine, and I search it regularly because that stuff, especially graded in good grades, pops up very rarely. That's how I found my Jimi Hendrix sticker, and I bought that Jimi Hendrix sticker for like $30, and I submitted it to PSA myself, and I got a 7, and there's like none graded. The 1985 Van Halen sticker I have, I submitted that. I bought that, submitted it myself. It's the only one in the population, and I own it, and I bought it raw and submitted it myself. So it just goes to show there's not a lot of that stuff out there. But so when I saw those yesterday, I bought a Led Zeppelin and I bought a Queen, and they were both already graded. And you just don't see that stuff pop up that much. So when I saw them pop up at the price that they were at, I bought them. They're only $60 a piece, and they were already graded. And I looked up the pop reports. Let's see. It's Panini Cantanti. Someone else put it in there. It's Cantanti. Let me see if I can show you. I can show you actually. Like this. So it says Cantanti. So then they were only like printed in like Italy. So it's Panini Cantanti. And the Hendrix is a 68. It also says it on Cantanti on the back of the Rolling Stones. And that one was in 1969. But that's where I search. And then sometimes I'll type in like 1992 Pro Set rock cards. And that's where you can find like Run DMC, you can find Soundgarden. I mean, there's not as many in there, and there's a lot of junk ones in there, but like the Snoop Dogg is the Panini Smash Hits. Remember I told you I also search Smash Hits. So I search Panini Smash Hits. If you just put in Panini Cantanti, you won't get the Smash Hits sets and stuff like that. So you got to do individual searches. Yeah, I got a steal. I got like those for the guy had those listed for $60 a piece, and they were already graded. And I originally put in best offer of 50 a piece. I was like, I'll give you 50 for the Led Zeppelin and 50 for the Queen. Like 3 or 4 hours elapsed throughout the day, and he hadn't gotten back with me. So I was like, you know what? I'm not losing these for $10. Somebody else is going to come along and buy these. So I just went ahead and bought them. I can't wait till they get here. I can't wait to do that video on out of the box investments. Trigger, I have as many logos as Panini Select has parallels this year. Yes. Because everyone has their favorite. Everyone has their favorite. So you got to make more logos. Because everyone has different tastes. But anyway, and this one, the national one, is no good after this year. I mean, it says 2021 on it. So Tua will become intriguing at the right price. It all depends. I'm not a huge Tua believer. I'm a Dolphins fan, so I tend to not buy cards of players that are currently playing on my favorite team, even if they're doing great, because then I get attached to them and I don't want to sell, or I overpay because I think with my heart. So a lot of times if someone's on the Orioles, the Dolphins, I don't buy their stuff. I only buy their older stuff, like Cal Ripken. Like, I'm a Celtics fan. Yes, I have Tatum stuff, but I don't get attached to my basketball cards like I do my other sports. And I'll sell my Tatums because I collect Larry Bird. That's my Celtic. That's who I collect from the Celtics. All right, guys. So yeah, Wisconsin collectible. I don't put them together though. I do Panini Contanti as a separate search, and then I do Panini Smash Hits as a separate search, and then I do Panini Pop Stars as a separate search. Because if you put them all in the same search, they won't come up together. Giving you guys all my secrets. I'm gonna start losing out on all my cool rock and roll stickers. But anyway, guys, we're 2 hours and 10 minutes in. Last chance to get yourself entered into the Super Chat raffle to either win the Kyler Murray or a t-shirt, which would be number 2 off the line for which would be number 2 off the line for the t-shirt. It's got the logo on it. And then on the back, it just says FOTL 1 of 50. So the next one will be FOTL 2 of 50. So give you guys a couple minutes if you want to get yourself entered in. If not, we will go ahead and draw these winners. We'll wrap it up for the night, guys. Thanks for joining me on a Wednesday, not a Monday. And I'll have a video out tomorrow talking about Raleigh and Philly. I'm going to talk about both shows. I'm going to compare the shows to an extent. And I'm going to talk about all the stuff that I've gotten at the shows. And show you guys everything that I picked up. You've seen some of it on IG. If you don't follow me on IG, flipping_Steve, you'll see cards over there before I do videos on them. And I think that's going to be it, guys. We're going to go ahead. If anybody's gotten in, $3 for a $3 to get in for the Kyler Murray, or $5 to get 2 entries, and you can also win a t-shirt. All right, that's it. Here we go. So the first name out is going to be for the Kyler Murray. Then I'm going to draw 3 names and ask a question. Actually, I'm just going to draw 2 names. I'm not going to do a question because somebody in the chat will answer it and ruin the question. And then we'll be here all night. So first name out is for choice. T-shirt or the Kyler Murray. I got one right here. You got to still be here, though. It's Jordan Hudson. Jordan Hudson, you get your choice. Let me know if you're still here, Jordan. If you're still here, let me know. And I'll draw the second name, which will be for whatever is left over. However, if Jordan's not still here. All right, Jordan is here. So, Jordan, you're going to get the shirt. I think I might have your info on IG already, but just in case, go back over there and hit me with your size. And I might be able to do a different color. I'm not 100% sure. It'll either be gray. You can give me a color preference, but if you don't, then because I'll have it made in whatever color you want it in. So, tell me what color you want. If I can't get the t-shirt person to make it in that color, then I'll just do it in the gray. And just hit me on Instagram with your size and your info. And then the second name out is, yeah, Ziggy, I should be able to get the shirts in any size. Like, I don't have bulk amounts of shirts because I'm not selling them. I'm just doing them for giveaways and things like that. Because I don't want to charge people $20 for a t-shirt. And that's how much I got to pay for them. So the second name is Doug Silverman. So Doug Silverman, Doug, if you're still here, head over to Instagram, give me a follow, and send me your info for the Kyler Murray. Doug, if you're still here, let me know. All right, Doug, there's Doug. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Video dropping tomorrow. Raleigh, Philly shows, pickups. Can't wait for my new stuff to come in so I can do my out-of-the-box video, which I haven't done one of those in a while, but they're always the most fun. Until next time, guys, thanks for joining me. I will see you guys later on.